Today, we are going to take one of the most iconic NES soundtracks and rip it apart and figure out what makes it tick. Hey everybody, this is the Techno Punk Boy channel and I am your host Paul. I really appreciate you tuning in. It's been a little while since we took apart one of a soundtrack and kind of ripped all the channels out of it and figured out why it sounds so good. But today, that is exactly what we are going to do with Mega Man 3. Absolutely one of the best NES soundtracks, just a classic set of songs. We're going to be looking specifically at Sparkman's song, which there are several songs on this soundtrack that I would very much like to dig into. But this one I thought would be a really good starting point. So if you have not joined us for this series before, I can put a link to the playlist for all the other parts of the series up here. But the main point of it is to kind of take some of these great songs that we know and love and separate the channels out so that we can hear the individual tracks and go from there and kind of see why these things sound as good as they do. And so let's listen to the song first of all, just straight, and then we'll start picking it apart. All right, then we start our loop. So that's what we have to work with. The Mega Man 3 sound, a lot of these old composers from the 8-bit era were really talented in getting the most out of the sound chip. They had very limited resources to work with, but they figured out how to use it really well, and this is no exception. So we have basically three channels making tonal sounds, and then a noise channel that is providing a lot of the percussion. But this soundtrack does what a lot of the soundtracks were doing back in the day, in also taking advantage of the triangle wave to use to make some percussion noises. But we're going to get to that. First of all, let's listen to this drum part. And so what I didn't notice this before, but there's some cool stuff happening here. This is the channel that just has kind of these static noises, and you can kind of pick the pitch of the static and the punch of it to make certain sounds. And so that they arrange these into these drum sounds, which we're going to hear now. Oh, I picked the wrong channel. Hold on. So it's supposed to represent just kind of like bass drum and a hi-hat right now. All right, so in that intro right here, you're just hearing what's supposed to be like the bass drum and hi-hat and kind of getting things going. But the snare sound cutting in right here into the main beat, which is just a straightforward backbeat with they're punching that the static more to symbolize the snare. Now, as we add in things, you're going to hear how this all fits together, because when you listen to it just like that, it just sounds like noise. What's really ingenious about these songs is what happens when we kind of put everything together. But let's keep going, because the beat changes, but also a lot of the tones change, and you're going to hear how that fits into everything as we go. But we're about to get into the kind of part B here fairly soon. Here we go. By the way, that little fill right there, man, that's really cool. I really like that. All right, so let's take a listen. First of all, just to establish, this is going to be the triangle wave channel only. And so for people who might not be familiar with the way they do this is you can only get one note at a time on this channel, but you can have that, you can have the bass note and then have what would sound more like a tom fall out of that real quickly, and it pops something, and then it returns back to the bass note. And in the context of the song, you're not going to actually notice all the time when they switch, just because the whole sound of the song, your ear kind of fills in some of the tiny gaps. But soloed, you're going to hear exactly what we're doing here. So starting from the beginning, this is triangle only. All right, so this is bass, just the bass. Now right here, you hear how it's doing the bass and the tom? This is kind of the part A. It's about to hit part B. All right, so at the beginning, these tom fills, this is just so Capcom at the time. This sounds so much like Capcom. And so here's the first one. And then in the main section of the song, you're gonna, in part A, you're gonna get those toms on the 2 and the 4. Let's hear both of these together, because the way these two channels sound together is just really, really cool. And you start hearing how the noise channel becomes the drum set when it's in the context of the greater song, and how that tom sound in the triangle wave combines with the really heavy pop in the noise channel to make it even sound more like a drum and less like a bass that's just playing really high. So now the tom has cut out, but now the drums have gotten more complicated. That's when we get away from that strict backbeat. Man, it's just really, really cool. We're going to solo this is actually the second square wave channel. So the square wave has different settings that's going to be able to kind of change the tone of it a little bit. And the composers and programmers of this era would use that to make it sound like different instruments coming in and out. They do one really cool thing with kind of a volume swell in this channel that's really neat. But this intro has just this really tight arpeggio sound that it doesn't get repeated in the song itself, but it's one of my favorite parts of it. We're gonna listen to that track right here. Is this arpeggio? It sounds kind of abrasive right here, but when you fit it into the rest of the song, you're gonna hear how well it sounds together. So now we're getting into the A part. Notice that change in tone? Now check out here. In the little meter here, you can actually hear that. You can see the effect of that vibrato. Just kind of watch the meter going. Where is it? On this side. Yeah. To that vibrato. So you get this volume swell and this cool vibrato that just sounds so cool. All right, let's do all the rhythm sections together before we add the melody in, and because all these together, it's just, this is a really cool, driving, fun beat. See how like it takes that abrasiveness out of those arpeggios, and now it's just part of this tight rhythm. Going into A here. Into B. That's really fun. The melody, the melody plays in the introduction, which is not. I guess is unusual, but it's not usual. Which I guess is the definition of unusual. But anyways, it's not overly common, but the song kind of starts at full force. And this intro is, well, I mentioned before, one of my favorite parts of the song. And it doesn't get repeated in the loop. Now, I died a lot in this game, so I heard the intro quite a bit. But I love the interplay in the A section between the melody square channel and the rhythm square channel. But we're going to get there. But here's just the melody. Nice crisp sound. A. Little change in tone there. A little bit change in tone. I love this particular sound. Okay, all right. Going back, just as we're going to do the two square channels. I want to see, especially in A, because they're playing really close together in it, and it has an effect of. There seems to be a lot going on there. There's moments where it seems like an echo, like a delay on it, but. There's moments where there's providing harmony. What's really going on is the rhythm is just playing a rhythm, but the melody is kind of using that format as it goes. And so I think it sounds really cool. But we'll start at the beginning with the two square channels. Just those two by themselves sound really good together. If they're not using the exact same tone here, they're very close, and they're in the same octave area. So right at the end there, let's go back. At the end there, they're just doing straight harmonies, but otherwise, sometimes they're playing the same notes. Sometimes they're a half second apart from one another. Sometimes they're it's a really neat kind of complex effect just by getting, having them play their parts so close together. Okay, so here's harmony, straight harmony. The rest of it is they're actually playing two separate things, just very, very near to one another. Harmony again there. So in that B part, they both square channels kind of go up in pitch, and when we pull it all together, you're going to notice that the bass goes down some, and so like everybody is playing like right here in the intro and part A, but then they separate out, and the effect in part B is really opening up the sound quite a bit and amping it up a little bit. So we're gonna pull in everything again from the beginning. Now that we've heard everything, we see how they interact. Now the effect of everything pulled together. You're really, really going to notice now how those static sounds in the noise track are sounding more and more like drums in the context of the whole song. And you're going to hear how like the dropping of the bass in part B and the square waves going up, really the bass in that section, by the way, hits just a sweet spot that just sounds incredible and really fills out the sound here. So I just love this great tight intro. You barely notice, by the way, the bass drops out in those toms because everything else is filling it in. Listen to where the bass goes here. That's where it loops, and again, it doesn't go back to the intro; it goes back to part A. The intro you only hear when you die, and so that was a lot, as I say. Great tune. This is a fantastic soundtrack. With some amazing music on it. I go back and forth on whether I like 2 or 3 better as far as gameplay, but as great as soundtrack 2 has, I think 3 wins that one out. Either way, you can't go wrong with either of these OSTs. They are absolutely brilliant and have some amazing, just great driving, exciting tunes. So we're going to have a video game music reaction video. I know everybody loves those. Up very, very soon. I have several recommendations that people would like to see. And so I gotta pick one, and we're gonna try to get more of those out. Really do appreciate it. If you've made it this far in the video and you're not subscribed, this is one of the series we do on this channel. Also, video game music reactions. Please do hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon. It really means a lot to me. I've gotten such an incredibly positive response this year. This year in particular, to the videos, and I'd love to see that going. So I do appreciate it if you would like to connect with me elsewhere, Discord server is linked in the bottom. In the description, as well as I'm fairly often on Twitch doing some of my own music, doing gameplay, doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and you can find the rest of my activities down there. If you are looking for a way to support me, you can do that over at Twitch by subscribing there, or I have my own music out under Techno Funk Boy, which is on Spotify, which is on Apple, which is on Amazon, all that stuff. Please do check it out. Let me know what you think. Connecting with me over on Discord or Twitch is always appreciated. So watch out for the next one. Music reaction coming up next, and we will see you then. Thank you.